During the late Middle Ages, Europe faced war and plague, leading to a desire to celebrate life and the human spirit. Writers and artists in northern Italy began to express this new spirit and experiment with different styles, greatly changing how Europeans saw themselves and their world. This period, known as the Renaissance, lasted from 1300 to 1600 and was marked by an explosion of creativity in art, writing, and thought. Italy had three advantages that made it the birthplace of the Renaissance: thriving cities, a wealthy merchant class, and the classical heritage of Greece and Rome. The bubonic plague struck northern Italy in the 1300s, causing economic changes and allowing survivors to demand higher wages. Merchants developed in each Italian city-state, and many successful merchants believed they deserved power and wealth because of their individual merit. The Medici family, led by Cosimo de' Medici, was the wealthiest European of his time and continued to control Florence until his grandson, Lorenzo de' Medici, came to power in 1469. Renaissance scholars looked down on the art and literature of the Middle Ages and wanted to return to the learning of the Greeks and Romans. They drew inspiration from the ruins of Rome, studied ancient Latin manuscripts, and fled to Rome with Greek manuscripts when the Turks conquered Constantinople in 1453. Classical texts led to humanism, an intellectual movement that focused on human potential and achievements. Humanists influenced artists and architects to carry on classical traditions and popularized the study of subjects common to classical education, such as history, literature, and philosophy. The Renaissance man introduced the idea that all educated people were expected to create art, with the ideal individual strove to master almost every area of study. Upper-class women were expected to inspire art but rarely created it, but few women exercised much influence in politics. The Renaissance revolutionized art in northern Italy, with artists like Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael embracing realistic styles and techniques. Medieval artists used religious subjects to convey spiritual ideals, while Renaissance artists often used a realistic style copied from classical models. Greek and Roman subjects also became popular, and perspective was used to show three dimensions on a flat surface. Realistic painting and sculpture began to be popular, with prominent citizens such as Michelangelo, Buonarroti, and Donatello creating realistic portraits of their subjects. Leonardo da Vinci, a painter, sculptor, inventor, and scientist, was interested in how things worked and incorporated his findings into his art. Raphael, a younger artist, advanced realism by depicting Madonna and child expressions as gentle and calm, and filled the walls of Pope Julius II's library with paintings. Renaissance society generally restricted women's roles, but some Italian women became notable painters, such as Sofonisba Anguissola and Artemisia Gentileschi. Renaissance writers produced works that reflected their time and used techniques that writers rely on today. Some followed the example of medieval writer Dante, who wrote in the vernacular, and others like Petrarch and Boccaccio, who wrote both in Italian and Latin. Machiavelli's The Prince, 1513, examined the imperfect conduct of human beings and how rulers can gain power and keep it despite their enemies. He believed that a prince must be strong, shrewd, and able to trick his enemies and opponents for the good of the state.